down in towards the braking area for Brundle and Nelson, taking the lead of the race. Andrew Windmill already starting to gap. There in second place. So through goes our race leader. Andrew Windmill leads the race. Richard Wheeler under pressure now in the straight line. The Honda takes the DC5. Trying to maintain a small straight line speed. Can he go through? No, the door's closed as he head up towards Richie's corner. So Wheeler hangs on to third place. Nigel Ainge still has to settle for fourth at the moment. The rest of the field all filing their way through, including some cars that have made really good progress on the first lap. Up 5 places has come Nick Mellor. He's now at the wheel of the Peugeot 205 in 11th place. And car number 77, Mark Alexander Williams, at the wheel of his Citroën Saxo, is also up 5 places. So they have had a really good first couple of laps. One driver that has had an awful first few laps is poor old Russell Hurd. I thought his car didn't quite qualify where I expected it to be when it was 13th in qualifying and 10th in class. It's lost 16 positions on the first lap and it's just going backwards like Billio at the moment. So wait the arrival of the leading car in towards the braking area for Oggies. Andrew Windmill leading the race by 4.8 seconds after just 1 lap of racing. We've got another car that's very slow heading down towards Palmer. I think that's David Bellamy who might have had a moment there. Now, whether that's a problem with the car or whether he was sort of on the grass and rummaging through the undergrowth, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it might have been a slight problem for him as he came out of Palmer and he just maybe dipped a wheel onto the wet grass. So, yeah, maybe that was the issue for him. Andrew Windmill continuing to lead the race. Dan Fisher up 4 places from his starting position. Looking to see whether he can close in on the Brookston winner. Giant killing Peugeot, who might lose out a bit of puff in a straight line, but it's a quick car generally. He's a very good driver, and it's so nimble and well set up, that car. Martin Addison, who's the son of Bill Addison, who himself was a very quick racer and still is. Andrew Windmill, his fastest lap of the race on the first flying lap, 2 minutes 12.973. How does that compare to the qualifying time for Andrew Windmill? Well, it is half a second adrift of it, which suggests that the track now is pretty much dry all the way round. And therefore he can keep pressing on. His lead advantage has now grown to 6 seconds between himself and that silver and blue and day-glow pink car of Daniel Fisher. Richard Wheeler in 3rd place. Nigel Ainge has dropped a bit more away in 4th at the moment. And 5th really is a great fight. David Hutchins under enormous pressure heading in towards the braking area for Agostini with 3 further cars queuing up behind him. It's not just Richard Field and Martin Addison, but also wanting to join in on the fun as well. Here's James Slater at the wheel of his all-silver Honda. Through Hamilton they'll go. Richard Field looking to try and defend now, which is just allowing Hutchins to get away a bit. And he was trying to defend from Martin Addison, but Martin Addison had other ideas. Through the Peugeot up the inside of the Proton, heading in towards Oggies. And they're still side by side coming out of Oggies all the way round towards Williams. In a straight line, the Proton should have the advantage over the Peugeot. Might try and steal the place back. And it's just allowing David Hutchins to escape up the road a little bit in a straight line. Only now do the more powerful cars start to work their way through. They must be 3 wide, you know, as they head up the vehicle bridge, fighting over. It's going to be something like 6, 7 places here. And problems with Dan Fisher, the 2nd place car. Exit. Nelson. He came out with Nelson and a seat into Dan Fisher's car, but also got 4th. Up into 5th comes James Slater. Martin Addison sitting there in 6th place at the wheel of the Peugeot. 7th is the Proton, number 179, Richard Fields. 8th now is Carl Chambers, number 72. 9th is the Peugeot 205, number 205 is David Mellor. And it's going to be inside the top 10 now for number 77, the Class F car of Mark Alexander Williams. In fact, that's a good fight that's going on for the lead of Class F, really, between the Peugeot 205 and the Citroën Saxo. They are fighting for 1st and 2nd in their respective classes, and indeed we did have, well, Dan Fisher has made it back into the pit lane by the look of things. Has made it back to the pit lane of Colin Simpson, I'm afraid to say, so did spot both of those cars having a bit of trouble, and whilst Dan Fisher has made it back, might be a story to be told there if he's retiring the car that our roving reporter Matt Suckling might be able to get hold of. I don't think we're going to be able to shed any light on what the problem was with the Peugeot, because it has not made it back round. There's a black and white warning flag going out for somebody, which suggests that they transgressed the circuit limits. That's going out for car number 132, which is a Ford Puma of Alan Tice. We saw him come home as the winner in the Mintex Classic K race earlier on. Yeah, the Peugeot has stopped on the running towards the bomb hole race.
Yeah, Dan was reporting to the team that Dan Fisher in car number 52 just cut out on him, so it cut out, come back on, cut out again. So he came in, they've checked it over, they can only do what they can do, set him back out, and if it happens again, then it may be a retirement, but they're going to give it another go.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, thanks for being updated with that one. So that at least sheds some light on what the problem was with Dan Fisher. It's great to see him on the anchor list. I was really looking forward to seeing how he got on. He did exactly what he thought he might do. Pit window is now open as well, so the pits are open. Who are we going to see blink first and head into the pit lane? Are we going to see our race leader coming out through Windmill? Thought so at the moment. If he starts to catch a bit of traffic and thinks that he might lose time, then yes, maybe. But once he's still got a bit of clear track ahead of him, the common sense would tell you that you would just keep pressing on. We've got a great fight going on between James Slater and Martin Addison. Peugeot 106, the white car with its red bumpers of Martin Addison. They are fighting over what is 4th and 5th position in the race. As for our race leader though, he is just going up towards which is Steve Fletcher's car. He should be able to work his way past that without too much. Into the pit lane as well. So that's 3 cars that were towards the top 10, opting to take their stops very, very early on. We've still got 35 cars out there and running. 3 either retirement stroke non-start, in the case of Robert Jarman's car, which came down the pit lane a couple laps into the race and just went straight into the assembly area. So Andrew Windmill consistently a second, 1.2, 1.5 seconds quicker than anybody else is managing in the race, and it's just starting to build. Fabulous advantage, getting his way out of Nelson for the 6th time. Still with pretty clear tarmac ahead of him as well, so I think if I were Andrew Windmill, I would still keep pressing on at the moment. You've got no cars ahead of you need to worry about it. You need to get by a lap. There's going to be a little one that might come into play the next lap also, but that way he's going to keep himself out there circulating in clear air, which 38 car grid as it was. 39 cars having qualified. His way past the traffic. That's the Alpha 33 that almost got in the way there. It was under pressure from Nigel Angel as well as they went through the traffic. Is about to be vacated by Richard Wheeler, and the man that set the pole time, Mike Bushell, is about to jump on board that car. He's there to bring us the news.
Yeah, that's just a little bit further up from where I am at the minute, because the other end, number 1 has come in. So in has come Martin Addison, also number 54, trying to find its place in the pit lane, but missing. They're not where it needs to be, but that car can live in, so now come to a stop. So those two are single drivers, so they can just sit there for the next minute and a half before they are released back into the race as well. Who else have we got in? Russell Hurd in his Honda Integra now trundles very slowly down the pit lane and will try and find a gap somewhere within the pit lane to stop, which he now does. And also more and more coming in. We've got the Honda Civic, got number 36, which fills in, and also the Ford Fiesta as well, a little bit lower down, which I can't quite see the number of, but it's further down in the pit lane. So it's getting quite busy now. Everyone's taken that time to dive into the pits to get their pit stops out of the way, but all seems to be going quite well at the minute. The only one that's going to be into retirement is that orange Renault, the 810 of John Baker. Looks like there's some engine woes for that car, maybe some oil spilling out from under the bonnet there, so that out of the race, but everyone else is continuing, and very shortly Mike Bushell will be on his way. He's in the car ready to go. That sits to the side and watch to see what happens in the next part of this race.
Yeah, thanks like that too, Bill. Baker hasn't cooked the engine in that one, the bonnet is still up on it. The clock ticking away. We should see Mike Bushell heading out on the circuit very, very shortly. John Danby Racing Team is supporting up there. It's K-Race and the Ford Fiesta 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mike Bushell is now on his way back into the race, and we'll wait and see as to how quickly he can pedal this car. Now, he was 3/4 of a second quicker than Danny Cassar was in qualifying. He was 3 seconds quicker than Andrew Windmill managed in qualifying, and Andrew Windmill, remember, is the race leader at this stage. Williams just seemed to really trickle its way towards pit lane exit, and as some cars vacate the pit lane, into the pit lane has now come Nigel Ainge. So number 86 is in, Nigel Ainge, ready to hand over to Danny Cassar. Starting late, starting from the pit lane, is also in, and Matt Suckley is down there to bring us the news.
Yeah, Danny Cassar into that car. He pedals that Honda Integra very, very quickly indeed. So I think the rest of the field needs to be a little bit worried now, because Danny does go really quick in that car. So Nigel Ainge has done his stint, and it'll be now Danny Cassar to do the rest of the race. So quite a long time for for him to get through in this one. Peter Parkin is coming in number 34 as well, so that's going to be his pit stop to be done, and also the number 26 car of Chris Earl trundles down the pit lane as well. So with 38 cars, it's going to be pretty much every single lap about 12 cars or more into the pit lane, but just waiting now for Danny to get back on his way. Nigel looks okay, he's done a good job, looks hot and bothered already after 10 minutes or so in that car, but he can see what Danny can achieve. But it's all going to be now between them, of course, Mike Bushell back out there, and just waiting for the race leaders to dive in as well before too much longer, which is still that of Andrew Windmill.
It is, yeah. Car number 888, Andrew Windmill, still continues to lead, but he's now got a 25-second gap between himself and the second place car, because it's the all-silver Honda Integra Type R of James Slater that's in second place. The Proton Persona of Richard Field is now also on this lap. No, he's still got clear tarmac, so sensible thing. Leaving out there at the moment. Still 7 minutes of the pit window, so stacks of time. First half of this race, as they're in fourth place. Fifth is number 31, Nigel Tong. That is going to be the MG, and completing the top six is kind of a 1-1-3, which is going to be Stephen Reynolds for part one of the race. Matt?
Yeah, the reason Russell Hurd in car number 6 was a little bit slowed down the pit lane, he's lost a gear. Not too sure which one, but he's going to be struggling out there and maybe losing on the race of this race. And also down here in the pit lane, the Renaults, Dave not continue that well, of course, because the John Baker car has had problems, and it looks like the Renault Clio has now got problems as well, because the bonnet has come off, and that has been another car which is overheated by the looks of it. So not the Renault's day today.
Oh no, such a shame. Into the pit lane must come another couple of front runners. In second position, James Slater heads to the pit lane. Into the pit lane comes the Proton Persona, which is Richard Field to give way to Richard Jason Field. So that is another front-running car that is in. I can see another couple of cars just appearing into the pit lane, including one of the minis that we've got in the field. That will be Steve Wright. And we've also got Gary Barlow. I think that will be, no, it's Kerry Lewis, I should say, who brings the number 30 Honda Integra into the pit lane. He'll jump out of that, and I suppose they take that to Gary Barlow, won't they? Gary will as well, which has problems in qualifying. Dean Walton about to give way to Liam Place. So more and more cars sitting there in the pit lane. Richard Bethel is also in as well at the wheel of his Renault Clio. He's right the way at pit lane exit. Just exited the pit lane from 177 Mr. Racing Mini. But all of this is just playing beautifully into the hands of Andrew Windmill, who with a clear track is continuing to pop in the quickest laps of the race that we've seen last time through the race leader. It's 11.867. He's still staying out there because he's still got clear tarmac to accelerate into 5.4. Onto lap 10 he goes, and over 60 seconds he leads by this stage. Haven't pitted yet. The leading car that has pitted is what we need to keep an eye towards, and the leading car that has pitted and isn't in the process of conducting its pit stop is possibly going to be James Slater, who I think is just heading out in the pit lane. But I think what we really need to keep an eye on is Mike Bushell, where he is. Nick Assad is running the race in second. Relative gaps that we've got as for the race leader, Windmill, hanging on to the lead of the race. Last time through, posted up 2 minutes 11.334. And I'd say it wouldn't surprise me if he stayed out for another lap or so, because he's still got clear track ahead of him. And while you've got clear track ahead of you, you know you're not going to get compromised particularly. You may as well simply stay out there. Volkswagen Golf heads for the pit lane, which is Richard Brown, heading over to Paul Cater, and another raft of cars which go in. Vic Hope is in, so he was running in second position, Vic Hope, the number 51 Honda. So Scott Locke is going to jump right through the lap of 31 in, which is Nigel Tong. Down there to Lee Webster. Gap between first and second now it will be, because I think it is literally only 2 cars that haven't pitted. So Andrew Windmill, the race leader, hasn't pitted. On 2 more cars, car 777 hasn't pitted as yet, which is going to be Michael Blade. Blade has got David Bellamy, number 98, behind him, who also hasn't pitted. So, 3 cars are still circulating that haven't pitted. Andrew Windmill as yet. The other 2 do, however. So 777 Michael Dwayne is in, David Bellamy is in as well. Certainly the race leader. I think once we cycle through all of these pit stops, Danny Cassar may well possibly be running in 2nd place, but he's pushing hard. Cassar has just gone over the start-finish line and set the fastest lap of the race so far. 2 minutes 8.701 is the gap. No, sorry, is the lap time that he's just posted. The gap first second is over a lap at this stage because he is a 2-minute pit stop. He's circulating some 2 minute 10s, 2 minute 8s maybe, and the really quick cars, 2 mid sort of teens for a good chunk of them. So you're going to lose a full lap in the pit lane when you serve your pit stop. His 2-minute pit stop, where will he come out to relative to Danny Cassar? Race leader heading in towards Oggy's now. The 2nd place car, Hamilton. So there's just over a lap between them. So Andrew Windmill has got to keep pushing here. Car number 54 receiving a track warning with regards to track limits. That is going to be Mark Livens at the wheel of his Honda Civic. We've got waved yellow flags down at Agostini on the approach to it. I can't see why, however. Waved yellow flags on the approach towards Agostini. Is there something on the exit? Green on the exit. All right, if we can block the third down there, parked up, I'm afraid. The Honda Integra. It's struggled and been a rather recalcitrant car all day, really, compared to the pace that he should have, but he's parked it up and is out of the race, I'm afraid. Race leader should be in this time through, so Andrew Windmill must come into the pit lane this time through, otherwise he'll be too late, he'll be outside of the window, and he knows exactly that that is the case. So into the pit lane comes Andrew Windmill. He still leads the race through on the racetrack side. Will go Danny Cassar to unlap himself in reality. So there goes over the start finish line now, 86, Danny Cassar. That does not put him into the lead of the race. He's come back round again, take up the lead of the race from Andrew Windmill. You've got the pit lane, Matt.
Yeah, he's heading to the far end once again, so he comes to a stop now again. He doesn't need to do anything in that car. He is a solo driver, so he can just sit there for the next 2 minutes. But bear in mind, he then needs to add the extra 30 seconds for a winner's penalty as well. So you were mentioning how far Danny Cassar was behind. He had a lap in hand, effectively, but he needed about another 20 seconds for him to be behind. So as it stands at the minute, with Danny Cassar's pace, he's going right quickly with the fastest lap of the race, and Andrew Windmill here just sitting at the minute. He'll just be eating into that handover fist. So Danny Cassar's pushing on for the next lap or so, and we'll see how quickly this team can get the job done. But there's nothing to be done, as we said, just a quick simple wait for the team's instruction. As soon as those 2 minutes 30 seconds have ticked over, he'll be back on his way. But I fear Danny Cassar, with the pace he's showing, will be the leader by the time the pit window closes.
Yeah, he got 2 minutes and 22.8 seconds between himself and Danny Cassar, which stationary is not accelerating back at pace as well. So it's all sort of heading the way of Danny Cassar, particularly as he's just fastest lap of the race again as well. 2 minutes 8.431 from Danny Cassar last time through, so Andrew Windmill is going to have to rely on pure pace to try and catch Danny Cassar. That is a very, very difficult task ahead of him as well, because Danny Cassar is just so monumentally quick and metronomically consistent as well. So, big hasn't ticked down to 0 as yet. Danny Cassar just working his way out of the Murray's left-hander and will accelerate his way onto the start-finish line. Now our race leader, so So that is now Danny Cassar into the lead of the race, and Andrew Windmill is only now able to get going just as Cassar hits the apex of the Andrew Windmill is a pit lane exit, so it's going to be a 10 or 15 second lead by Danny Cassar by the time Andrew Windmill gets fully up to pace. Over the start finish line goes the final. What will be doing James Slater the Mike Bushell for Fiesta. Bushell's got the inside line and works his way through. Place gain for Mike Bushell into third place. They finished third, himself and Richard Wheeler, in the Vincennes Classic K race earlier. Well, now Mike Bushell, former Renault Clio UK champion, British touring car driver, is up into third position. And James Slater is let it go for another lap. And now we can also keep an eye on times and see as to who might be catching others around them now that we've had changes of drivers in Southern around there. 12 minutes of the race to go, which I'm grateful to say is a race that has been so far without too much problem. Into the pit lane has come Nick Bella, I'm afraid, at the wheel of the Peugeot 205. Nick was leading Class F, and that is going to hand Class F to Mark Alexander Williams of the Citroën Saxo. I'm afraid. I'm not sure what the problem is with Peugeot 205. Which he qualified this morning, I wondered why Tom Menzies was down in 34th place when you'd expect him to be at least in the top half dozen, if not the top four. Well, he's also in the pit lane round of the race as well, so that's been a rather troubled day for number 18 Renault Clio. Our race leader, here he comes now, up towards the conclusion of another lap. That was a 208.5 that he just did there. Gap between himself and Andrew Windmill. Second place. It's nearly 17 actually. So number 86, Danny Cassar, leads the race from Andrew Windmill, number 888 in second place, who his first flying lap after his pit stop was only a... sorry, that's included acceleration. Second lap, but he needs to watch out. Second behind him in third position. Fourth place is number 27, which is James Slater at the wheel of his Honda Integra Type R. So it's a fourth is sixth is number 1, which is Martin Addison's Peugeot. Seventh is the Proton Persona 179, Richard Jason Field. Eighth place is 72, Carl Chambers at the Peugeot 306. 77, Mark Alexander Williams in the light blue Citroën Saxo, and that will therefore mean that he takes up the lead of Class F. Our class leaders, leading the race overall, leading Class A, Danny Cassar. Richard Wheeler stroke Mike Bushell lead Class C in their Ford Fiesta in third position. Class E leader is Martin Addison in sixth place. The Class D leader is Richard Jason Field, number 179 in seventh position. I've given you the Class F leader. And that is going to be car number 318. Leaders that we've got with 9 minutes of the race to go. Here comes our race leader. This is lap number 14. He's about to start. Danny Cassar leading by 17 seconds. It's another 2 minute 8 second lap. About 4 of a second off his best so far. Always lapping tenths of your best lap of the race. Andrew Windmill, his best lap is ever 11. Far away. What's the gap between himself and Mike Bushell? Wow, thousandths of a second between them. Mike Bushell has just done the best lap that the third place number 53 Ford Fiesta has done, at 2 minutes 11.587. that lap from Andrew Windmill, a 2 minute 5.831. So the gap second to third has come out by a matter of 5. Driver to watch. Through goes Richard Jason Field. I was going to say, I wonder is he catching Martin Addison? He is, but he's 11 seconds behind the Peugeot 6.